Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, July 15th. I'm Adela. Dan is sick, and you're listening to the Underbelly Hours.
Take off your coat, stay a while!
Like listening to new music? Want to know a band before they get popular? Tune into the Underbelly Hours, Sunday nights at 6 p.m. on WRSC 88.7 FM, and discover the best of local, unsigned musicians. Don't miss out on the next big thing.
Well, as you can tell, I'm also a little bit sick myself, but welcome, everybody. My name's Adela. I am going to be your host for the next 2.5 hours, talking about local Chicago music on a segment that WRSC does every week called the Underbelly Hours. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. We have some special guests for you tonight. It is week 3 of Yesfest Bonanza week, which means that we have 3 more artists for you that are going to be appearing at the Yesfest stage July 27th and 29th that we get to talk to and find out their local shows and everything that they've been doing before they appear on the Yesfest stages. Tonight's setup is kind of interesting. We have 2 acoustic artists, Tall Doug and Megan and Caitlin, followed by one rock band called Where's Fernando. It was going to be an all-acoustic set originally tonight, which was supposed to be the theme, since last week's theme was all rock music, but things changed, and we are really excited to have the bands we have. And don't worry, the bands who are supposed to be on tonight are still going to be on later in August, so just follow us on Underbelly Hours at facebook.com or Instagram to figure out exactly when your favorite bands will be on the airwaves. We're going to kick things off tonight with a little bit of a sampler, actually. Before we hear Tall Doug, our first interviewee, we're going to hear some songs from acoustic stage Yesfest artists who are going to be performing mostly on July 27th and 28th. So our first artist we have is Robert Krause and the Darling Sons. This is an up-and-coming group who are debuting their first album on the first day of Yesfest, which is pretty special, so shout out, guys. Really excited to hear you play live. They have a wonderful, driving, kind of soft rock feeling to them, not dissimilar to Of Monsters and Men. And we get to preview this special album for the first time on the airwaves tonight. So here you go, guys. This is Willow Tree by Robert Krause and the Darling Sons. Let's take a listen.
Seems so
was Willow Tree by Robert Krause and the Darling Sons, a very cool local band. I hope you guys heard the kind of soft rock of Monsters and Men influences. I totally did. It's good stuff. And I was listening through the rest of this album actually because Robert was kind enough to send me the whole thing before the show tonight. And you guys are in for a treat. If you're into soft rock, I highly suggest giving them a follow. They're Robert Krause and the Darling Sons. You can find them on Facebook, on Instagram, and give them a like, give them a follow so you can be updated when their album drops, or just come visit at Yesfest, July 27th. I hope they have album copies with them to give out at Yesfest. Should be fun. The next band I want to also showcase before we get on to the interviews is Leah Shoshanah, who I have had the privilege of seeing live, I think at least twice now. She's a multifaceted singer, songwriter, guitarist whose soulful original music kind of navigates into jazz and rock and folk genres, all while paying tribute to her original kind of lyricism and folk roots. Her newest project, Shoshana Wolf, is an extension of this solo thing that she started in 2010. And while I don't have any of those new tunes to show for you guys, I will show you one of my personal favorite songs of hers. This is from her album, A Child Like This, called Ai Ai by Leah Shoshanah on WRC 88.7 FM.
My heart is a mountain where the dreamers come to pray, weaving songs from the shadows. Ay, 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 ay. My heart is a fire, echoes 100 drummers deep that beat until the morning light. Ay, 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 ay. Wake, wake, all the sleeping dreams. Take them from the mountain and back to the sea. Wake, wake, all the sleeping dreams. Take them from the mountain and back to the sea, and back to the sea. Ay, ay. My heart is a river where the lovers go to sleep and remember with their bodies. Ay, 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 ay. My heart is a dark sky with clouds of endless stars and wisdom as old as time. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Wake, wake, all the sleeping dreams. Take them from the mountain and back to the sea. Wake, wake,
Ai by Leah Shoshanah, who is going to be at Yesfest on July 29th. Highly recommend you guys look her up. And we got one more artist to show before we start off the interview sections. So Tall Doug is going to be coming in at 6:15, or a little bit later actually, because now it's 6:15 for our interview. But right before he comes in, I want to shout out Zack Baumgartner, who I promised that we'd play one of his tunes. So this is a guy who we've had on the show, I think twice now. He's a young rocker who's been growing stronger with each appearance that he has live. He's powerful, he's a positive force, and he's now fronting his own pop rock group called When the Sun Sets, which I sincerely hope, Zach, you're going to debut for Yesfest. But in the meantime, you can listen to his solo stuff on Spotify. Here's a tune of his called Chicago, and when we come back, we will have Tall Doug for our first interview of the night. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We're just high school kids. What do we know? We're young and dumb and free, or we thought so. The whole world is in our hands, don't you see? So baby, just drop your plans and come with me. Your window, 'cause I'll be calling for you as the cars pass me by. Come outside underneath this starry sky in Chicago. Watching the sun go down on this big city. There's flashing lights all around, but you're still prettier. The sound of your laugh drowns out all these crowded streets. And every time I see that smile, I'm on my knees. Watch me out your window, 'cause I'll be calling for you as the cars pass me by. Come outside underneath this starry sky in Chicago. I know that I don't wanna leave this beautiful city while she sleeps. But I know that I have to go. I'll never forget this place that I call home. And I know that I don't wanna leave this beautiful city while she sleeps. But I know that I have to go. I'll never forget this place that I call home. Watch me out your window, 'cause I'll be calling for you as the cars pass me by. Come outside underneath this starry sky in Chicago. In Chicago. 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 Chicago.
Want more rock radio?
What are you blabbering about?
Join the radio movement with WRSE, the voice of Elmhurst College.
The choice of a new generation.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. So the last song you heard was Chicago by Zack Baumgartner. And if you're not doing anything tonight, he's actually playing at the House Cafe along with Grant Millerin, who was also on a show a few weeks ago. So check that out. Their set starts at 7. If you hurry, you can still make it over there. And he's a fantastic singer-songwriter. Hope to see him at Yesfest soon. But in the studio today, we have Tall Doug. He's the first interview of the night. And he's the guitarist and lead vocalist of the Ridgelands, and he's kind of going off and exploring his new project. So I'll let you give a little spiel about yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
Tall Doug, I don't know. I just play music.
How long have you been playing music for?
I think it's like 10 years, something like that, 12.
Nice.
I think when I was like 14 or something.
That's
when I
first
picked up
started?
a guitar, yeah.
Cool. So guitar's your primary instrument then? Or
Yeah, I'm not really good at it, but I'm not good at anything else, so
I think, I don't know,
I'm better
though.
at I'm better at guitar than,
Yeah.
other instruments, so I stuck with it.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say that you're ever really good at one instrument until like you're, I guess, like a virtuoso or someone crazy like that.
Right.
But that's your primary instrument, and you also write songs and sing them. So I know you're in a kind of relatively successful local rock band called the Ridgelands, right?
Yeah.
So why are you currently right now branching off and starting your own solo project? And what can we expect from that?
Well, they, I don't know, it's just I had a bunch of songs that weren't really, punk rock songs, and I just wrote them on acoustic guitar, so I was like, I'll keep it like that. The record is not done yet, but most of the songs on there, like, we put drums and bass and stuff to them, so it's not just going to be acoustic. But, I mean, they're, like, based off acoustic, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Before we actually spin one of these first songs for the audience to take a listen to, I have, like, a random question for you. I always like to kind of try to figure out what people define themselves as in their music, because oftentimes you hear people saying, oh, you sound like, I don't know, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, or you sound like this other famous band. But
I hope
if
people don't think that about my band.
But if you could have your music on like any type of TV show or series, what show would your music be the theme song to?
I don't know. It's a good question. Like,
So like
the theme song
Yeah.
of the show? Like any song
yeah. So like
of
what
mine?
kind of so people have like a visual in their heads of what
Yeah,
what to
no.
put with your
I
music.
don't know. I don't really watch a lot of TV except Walking Dead, but I don't think my music would fit well on there. I don't know.
Well, you
Maybe like a revamped version of Friends or something. I don't know.
revamped Friends.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's the first time I've heard that answer before on the station, but that's cool.
Yeah.
So let's take a listen to one of your first tunes. I have pulled up here is Die With My Friends,
Yeah.
which actually coincides with the Friends kind of thing. So let's take a
That's
listen.
weird.
I really like this song, so
Thank you.
let's take a listen. This is Die
All
With My
right.
Friends by Tall Doug.
They said you can't dance under the city lights. They don't want you having any sort of fun. They said you can't drink inside the parking lot. Well, this is my van and these are my friends. We'll do whatever we want. When we were younger, they said we could be anything. Looks like they turned their backs. There's nothing better than good company. Sometimes friendship's the only thing that makes sense. Well, I wanna die with my friends. I wanna laugh, I wanna have a good friends. I wanna die with my friends. I wanna die with my friends. I wanna die with my friends.
So that song you just heard was Die With My Friends by Tall Doug, who we have in studio with us today. So what made you come up with this idea for the song Die With My Friends?
I don't know.
It's kind of a
Friends are a
fun one.
big part of my life, you know. Without them, I'd probably wouldn't be where I'm at and stuff. I mean,
Do you mean musically or personally or kind of both?
all of it, yeah. Because, yeah, I don't know. Like you learn things, you got experiences with them. You go out, you have fun, and it's just a great time, you know. And that's the point about the song is like I want to be with my friends until I am dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I want to keep them around. I don't want to get married and then everybody branches off, doesn't talk to each other and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I guess it's like
You'd
immature
rather
or
have that
something, but,
group. No,
yeah.
I think it's just like a different way of looking at it. Not everybody has to have like a cookie cutter lifestyle, you
Right.
know? And that's totally cool and totally valid. And that song's fun because it definitely has like a summer vibe to it. Like
Yeah.
It's definitely accessible and like it's a fun one to kind of start off the show with because I think it really shows you have like a storytelling side to your lyrics. I don't know if
Yeah,
if you've
that's the
nailed
only way
but-
that comes out. I can't talk into a microphone and get people going. You know, I can't. I'm terrible at that.
Uh-huh.
But if I write it down and like think about it, then it
Beforehand,
makes sense. But
yeah.
right, I can't just go off and tell a story.
Nice.
I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
Learn that.
Well, it's hard to improvise on the spot. And but do you generally write your songs about other people or about yourself? How does that process look like for you?
I gotta kind of write it about myself because, like I said, I'm not good at like storytelling. You know, so
Yeah.
I just have to take personal experiences and then turn it over into music.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is it a different process when writing songs for your solo project versus writing songs for your punk project, or do you kind of have the similar
It's just really whatever
approach?
comes out.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I'll just have lyrics and then put some chords over it, or I'll just play some chords and then like hum something.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, that melody sounds good, and then I'll just, you know, freestyle over it, just first words that come to my mind, and then write it down, and then kind of get a line going, and then just work off that one line, and then it kind of just turns into a song.
Yeah. But you're not like specifically, I guess, portioning out then which of your songs you like. You're not starting with the mindset of I want to make a song for my solo project or I want to make a song.
Right.
For my
It's
punk
just
project.
whatever it fits into.
Nice.
'Cause these songs that will be on the record those are all songs that didn't fit the punk genre. You know.
Yeah. So when is the record coming out? Actually, you mentioned that.
Hopefully soon.
Okay.
Been kind of busy lately, but I'm gonna be getting back over there probably in like 2 weeks and finish some stuff up. So I'd say by like winter, I think.
Cool. So while you didn't necessarily, I guess, start off with the idea of writing a song for like the solo project, have you noticed when looking back at some of the songs that you have chosen for this solo project that you have like a kind of theme going on in this record that you're going to release, or is it just like a combination of whatever you happen to be influenced?
Yeah, they're all sad. They're,
I guess that's fair.
I mean, it's just the way it is, you know. Especially with an acoustic guitar, you start playing acoustic
yeah.
guitar. It's, you know, very personal. And
Probably like 80% of acoustic solo songs are sad
Right.
songs.
I mean,
It
that
just
one,
fits.
Die With My Friends, it was like, I want to make it a little upbeat because that one's not really sad or depressing. It's just, you know, it's a fun one. Yeah, there's not really a theme to where like I gotta follow and make a story with each song that, you know, all adds up in the end.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it's just emotions that float around. And it is what it is, you know.
Would you say it's like a little more personal to you than like the Ridgelands project, or is it still?
I mean, it's personal. I guess because the songs are from my experiences and stuff. So, but I try to write them in a way that other people can relate to them. You know, that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe that was a bad way of phrasing that question. I'm just curious, as someone who doesn't have like, you know, I don't really have. I have some music projects, but they're all relatively kind of in the same vein.
Mhm.
Do you find yourself like in your punk project writing more songs that are kind of maybe more outwardly just like emotional, aggressive, but like maybe not necessarily talking about like personal experience, and your solo project is more about your like personal experiences with other people?
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
is that like
sometimes.
a false stereotype
I
that I'm
mean,
totally
like,
making?
With Ridgelands, we could be goofy or whatever. We could have a silly song or something.
Yeah.
But I'm write angry song
Mm-hmm.
or a sad song, but in punk chords and stuff like that. Same 3 chords,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
But there's no difference for you.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Cool. And you mentioned too that this album is not going to be, even though it's your solo project, it's not going to be just you with an acoustic guitar. Like you can hear some drums and bass in the background
Right, it's
there.
gonna be full band.
Cool. Was that you on all the instruments then, or is it like your friend?
I'm not Phil Collins. No. My buddy Brett, he was in the Frantic. He played drums, and his dad, who recorded it, he did some bass. He did the bass on that song.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys have just really been helping me out the whole time, like, coming up with ideas that I didn't have. They'd be like, oh, this sounds good here, and I made up a little riff over here and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of all 3 of us. We're all just kind of working on it, like, together, trying to make it as good as it can be and make it sound, perfect.
Cool.
As perfect as it can be.
Nice. So let's like go on to your next song then. I have pulled up A Million Stories. Is that a cool one to go continue?
Yeah, it's really about just going on tour with your
Okay.
friends. A lot of friends going on
Yeah.
in these songs.
Which makes sense going back to your like what
Yeah.
would your
Oh,
theme song
this
be?
one is about being on tour. We were on tour in this big conversion van, and just no air conditioning, driving
Oh
through this
God, no.
through the desert in California and everything in the summer.
Oh man.
And we it was so hot that we were trying to board up the windows so no sun could get in with the boxes of beer that we had, because that was all we had. And we realized that we put the Bud Light logo on, like,
On the
facing
outside.
out the window, and we're
So
like,
it looks like you're a
somebody's gonna
sponsor?
pull us over. That's not good.
Were you pulled over?
No.
Thank God. Well, they should have gotten a sponsorship from Bud Light. You should have taken a picture, put it on Instagram, and been like,
I know Post Malone had it.
yeah, whatever.
My boy Post.
Oh man, that man's. Interesting.
I don't know. He's kind of cool though.
Yeah, what are your
'cause
thoughts
he,
on
like-
him on Post Malone?
I don't know. I feel like he likes a lot of good music other than
His own.
whatever he does. But I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a. My buddy actually takes photos for him. He's like his professional photo guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I was just curious because you mentioned Post Malone. Anyway, here's A Million Stories
All
by
right, cool.
Tall Doug on WRSE 8.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This American boy, he believes in love. This American boy. And this American boy, he's got big dreams. This American boy. He wants a pretty girl and an ice cold drink. The boy wants a stage. It don't take much to make him happy, this American boy. The lights are down and his hands are sweaty. The road is calling his name. The dimming sunlight, the flashing lines, that's all he needs to be free. A couple buddies and a $1 million. They're telling jokes in a van, drunk on an airplane. Whoops, they made a mistake. Just don't tell a soul. And they were laughing alone. Yeah, they were laughing alone. $200 on a 3-week tour. It might get hard to survive. Won't you wake 'em when you're almost there? This American boy. Oh. Well, this American boy. This American boy. This American boy. This American boy.
Want more rock radio?
What are you blabbering about?
Join the radio movement with WRSE, the voice of Elmhurst College.
It's the choice of a new generation.
All right, and we are back on the air. No, you're good. I might start doing that as well. I mean, I'm just sick, and everything is. I hope my voice doesn't die at the end of this, but that's all right. So that little song was "A Million Stories" by Tall Doug. And you were talking before that you kind of came up with this because you were going on tour with your band.
Yeah.
So what was, I guess, one of the best places that you played on that tour that you were talking about before?
I played LA. That was cool.
Like any notable venues or
like you know what? At
or
the end
house
of that,
shows
at the
or
end of that
anything?
tour, we were in Tulsa and we actually opened for Alien Ant Farm.
Oh my God, no
which is,
way.
Yeah, but we didn't stay to watch them, so I have no idea what they even look like or anything.
Oh man.
I was like, I only know like one song,
Uh-huh.
and it's not even their song. It's a Michael Jackson song.
Yeah.
The cover. But
Aren't they that band from the 90s that like kind of like disappeared off the face of the earth for a while, then all of a sudden they're back playing shows?
they live in Tulsa, probably. I would assume.
Nice.
That's right. They don't do anything.
Yeah. They did
Yeah.
cover Smooth Criminal, yeah.
But yeah, we were supposed to play a basement show, and then our buddy Tony over there, he was like, "Do you guys want to like try to make some money, or do you want to play this basement show?" We're like, "Money would be cool, you know,
Yeah.
some gas." And he's like, "Okay, I got you on this show with Alien Ant Farm." And we're like, "All right."
So where was this show?
The Vanguard.
Okay. Oh, isn't that like a pretty decent venue?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They
Yeah.
throw a whole bunch of shows there.
Mm-hmm.
Every summer they do. I can't even say it because it's got the F word. But it's FU We Rule. Okay.
Okay.
But
I think I've heard of that one before.
yeah, they, Casualties have played there, and
Mhm.
Lower Class Brats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
So
that venue's awesome.
in general, what's your favorite types of shows to play? Do you like playing bigger venues or house shows or?
I mean, house shows are always awesome. It's a good
Mhm.
time. Everybody's having fun and kind of real lenient, you know.
Mhm.
But big shows are cool too. I mean, if there's a lot of people there, you know, it's like always you get
You
a
get
better
the
feel for
energy,
it.
kind of the
Right.
vibe, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, playing shows is great. I
Mhm.
mean, both hands there, you know.
But do you notice, like, I don't know, do you get more followers or more kind of people who are interested in music after a bigger show or after a smaller show, like, where you can interact with the audience? Does that ever play an influence factor?
I feel like it
Yeah.
might be just the same.
Yeah?
Like, I mean, you go to the, house shows or whatever. Obviously, those people, the kids there are, they're there because they love it.
Yeah.
This is great. Good time. But then I feel like the people at the bigger shows, they really just show up for like one of the bands,
Yeah.
one of the bigger bands, and they don't really. I mean, sometimes they stick around, which is cool.
Mhm.
But I guess it all just depends. If you
Mhm.
do good and people are like, yeah, I dig your stuff. You know, they come up to the merch table and
Yeah.
really, I feel like it's like, it weighs itself out, you know?
I feel. I'm just curious because, like, since you say, or you told me at the beginning of this that you were you've been playing in that one band, the Ridgelands, for 7 years now. So that's, I'm sure you got like almost a million stories at this point of all the stuff that you've got like on tour and all that stuff.
Yeah, I got some crazy ones that I
Did you
can't really
That's totally fair.
tell you guys, but it's a good time.
Yeah.
We have fun.
When did you guys start touring in general?
Right when we started as a band, we got in a minivan. And we're just like, all right, we know a couple people in different cities, and I think the first place we went was Orlando with our buddies, the Snotty Kids, and then we just jetted over to Tulsa again. So we kind of always hit Tulsa when we go out because we have a lot of friends there. So yeah,
cool. And if someone who's listening, we got a lot of bands listening into this show. If somebody who's listening has never been on tour and would like to go on tour, do you have any like recommendations of like kind of either how to start or like
just do
what
it.
to do when you're on tour or anything like that?
Just, close your eyes and swing the bat. Just go for it. I don't know. It's, I mean, you got to get connections, and sometimes you get screwed over, and shows will fall through. But if you got a couple people like Milwaukee or something like that, you get just connections. Really, just get as many as you can. Become friends with everybody, so then they hook you up with shows, and then you could hook them up with shows.
Do you think like Facebook groups and all that stuff is a good way to do that, or do you think that's kind of more of a time waster than it actually
I
saves?
think it could help. That actually got me here.
Okay.
Because I was trying to find like singer-songwriter groups and acoustic groups, things that I would that my music would fit into.
Yeah.
And I seen the thing for Yesfest, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And here I am.
And here you are. Cool. So if you're listening, it's worth it to try and just talk to people and find new connections and all that stuff. Find your story. Cool. So we got a final tune from you called Brand New Hands that I'd like to showcase before our time with Tall Doug is up.
Okay.
What's this one about?
Just kind of going through a breakup and Brand New Hands, like trying to find, somebody new to hold hands with, kind of like lame stuff like that. But
No, I think it's totally relatable. Cool. So let's take a listen to that, and we'll be right back on the Percy.
Got a girl who wants to kill me. Boy, yeah, if she only knew. I got a girl that'll wrap her legs around me. So girl, do whatever you gotta do, and we can kill the lights if you wanna, and turn way down low. But we can light a candle if you wanna
right, so that was Brand New Hands by Tall Doug, who is originally of the Ridgelands, but this is his solo project for those of you who are just tuning in. So we talked a lot about kind of some of the inspirations, like story-wise and lyrically. Who are some of your inspirations musically, either for this project or just like in general? Who are you inspired by?
There's Paul Westerberg of The Replacements, Laura Jane Grace, Against Me, Bruce Springsteen,
Okay.
Matt Skiba
Mm-hmm.
from Alkaline Trio.
And I guess how do these guys do they affect the way that you right now or have written over the years?
I mean, the influences definitely come out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I try to make it not sound like, you know, I'm ripping them off or something, but they definitely inspire me to, in the way I write, and like try like, oh, maybe I'll hold that word out a little longer, and then, or cut that one, and then, you know, kind of run them through into like one sentence. There's a lot of things that go into it, and it just kind of just comes off the top of my head when I'm just playing and trying to create a song.
Yeah, I get you. What about in the mixing and mastering process? Have you ever thought of like, you know, told your engineer, oh, hey, I want this track to sound like Bruce Springsteen, or I want this track to sound
a little
like,
bit like,
you
put some
know?
echo in here, and I don't know, wrap me in an American flag, and just, no. Definitely, you know, try to get it to the point where, I mean, you hear it in your head, you know, when you're making a song, and I mean, we try to do the best we can to get that thought out and put onto the record, right?
Do you like using, are you more of a minimalist guy when it comes to like effects and studio magic, quote unquote, or are you
or anything like that? Just plug the guitar in and go.
That's kind of what I figured, because the sounds itself, they are good, like just structurally by themselves, and doesn't sound like you like throwing in a lot of stuff.
Thank you.
But would you ever consider
I've
throwing
definitely
in like
thought
other,
about it, especially like in the Ridgelands, and with this, I don't know how I would use pedals, you know, with the solo stuff, but I've definitely thought about it, but it's a lot of money, and I don't want to pay for that. So I just.
What about getting like another musician with you or something like that?
I mean, if like when I start playing more shows, and like if I play a bigger venue and stuff, I'll probably get a full band together to do the solo stuff. So there will be times that I have a full band, but I mean, right now, it's just going to be me and the guitar.
Cool. Do you have any shows coming up as your solo act or as the Ridgelands?
Yesfest.
Cool. Yeah.
And Ridgelands, we're gonna be releasing some songs September 1st.
Okay.
And we're playing the Burlington. With Lights Over Bridgeport, double feature. I feel like there's one more, but
Cool.
yeah, that's September 1st.
And that's before then. You guys aren't going to do anything. It's just.
Yeah, it's just gonna be Yesfest.
Just on Yesfest. Okay.
Right.
Cool. Well, in the meantime, is there anything else, like any other places that the audience can find your music and take a listen to you? And
my solo
that
stuff
jazz?
is not out yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just heard it. That's your one chance.
If you missed it,
You blew it. But you can find Ridgeland stuff on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and stuff like that.
Cool. And one final thought before we head out. I always like to ask people who are in bands, and especially since you've been in a band for so long around the area, who are either some bands you love to play with in the past, and who are some bands that just in the general local Chicago scene you really like to hear and would like to work with?
Criminal Kids, obviously. One of my favorites is the Midnight Reruns. They're from Milwaukee.
Midnight Reruns.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
They're amazing. Like they're the best.
And Criminal Kids is a local band from here, or
yeah, right,
just in the suburbs?
South side.
Yeah, okay.
And then there's Nightcap. They're from Blue Island. Still Alive. They're from the city. Double feature. My friend Dan's in that.
Okay. And are these all bands that you've played with before?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, they're
nice.
right. You play and you make friendships and stuff, and you just kind of just keep it going.
Yeah.
So,
What about bands who you haven't played with yet that you'd like to? If you do have one, you don't have to have one.
I don't know. I've been pretty lucky
Uh-huh.
with playing with some of my favorite bands.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Menzingers. That would be a cool time if you ever heard of them. They're bigger, but they're not local.
Cool.
They're from Philly, I think.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it'd be cool to hop on as like a opener or anything like that,
Yeah.
right? Cool. Well, it's about that time. I gotta let you go, but it's been a pleasure talking with you
Alrighty.
and kind of sharing some of these beginner new tunes out into the world.
Thanks for having me.
If you're interested, Tall Doug's in the Ridgelands, which you can find on Facebook. That's just like Ridgelands.
All one word.
All one word.
It's like the street
Oh,
on the south side.
okay. Cool. So that's what you're named after?
Yeah,
Sweet.
we're very clever.
No, that's cool. I like that. And then do you have your own personal stuff, like a personal music page that you're going to be releasing music on, or is it just going to be...
I mean, you could follow me on Instagram, tall_Doug, or Facebook, I'm just Tall Doug.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And then the Ridgelands is just at the Ridgelands.
Cool. Oh my gosh, I can't believe, sorry. I'm a little bit sick and I keep forgetting that
It's all
I
good.
need to be asking things. Why are you called Tall Doug? Oh, wait.
Because
can
I'm
I-
tall.
Yeah.
6'8".
Yeah. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, that's all I wanted to say. I
All
wanted to ask
right.
you that before you left, because otherwise I would have kicked myself if I didn't. Thank you guys so much for coming on
Yeah,
air.
thank
And
you.
Up next, we have Megan and Caitlin.
Like listening to new music? Want to know a band before they get popular? Tune into the Underbelly Hours, Sunday nights at 6 p.m. on WRSC 88.7 FM, and discover the best of local unsigned musicians. Don't miss out on the next big thing.